Hello and welcome, Rangers. And see, kept our promise. Same week, and we released the next shot for shot. So, yeah, actually, we do have to work double time to earn back fan trust. Not gonna lie. So here we are again. This time to discuss the cracking open of the egg. Now, apparently, I made a mistake in earlier episodes when I assumed Zed was looking for this egg for 6,000 years. It's actually been 2,000 years. So, yeah. Now, I'll leave everyone to guess what happened 2,000 years ago. That was such a big deal. Okay, sorry. Something's caught in my throat. Anyway, something big happened 2,000 years ago, and since then, Zed has felt his power to be on shaky ground and that the forces of evil are in some form of retreat of sorts. And he needs, some means of countering this sudden turning of the tide. Although I would say it's not like evil in Power Rangers is exactly just, oh, we're suddenly being defeated. No, like, evil was still had firm ground to say it had the edge. But it's just something happened that caused Zed to feel unsure of himself. Yeah, I already said what it was. But now he spent 2,000 years looking for Ivan. Of course, he's very greedy and hungry for the power that Ivan has. And the immediate reaction of Rita when she sees this egg that opened and is covered in snot, so to speak, pink snot, she checks it out with her finger, is disgusted by it, and just says, "You spent 2,000 years searching for a tub of snot?"
In that absolute nagging, Karen, irritating voice that you just want to strangle.
Yes, I kind of miss it.
Yeah, and she pulls it off very well.
Yes, very good actress.
Yeah.
And what I just really like is how you have Zed impatiently. Patience, Motor Mouth. That seems to be one of his nicknames for her. Motor Mouth. And she does have one.
And it's a good way to get around the censors that is very child-friendly and very apt.
Yeah, and
also demeaning.
Well, he's supposed to be demeaning towards her because she's repulsive as a person by nature. She is. Like, the Empress of Evil is a total shrew, and Karen and is someone who's just nobody even wants to be around, even her husband. And makes sense.
And she's jealous of the Pink Ranger.
Yeah, because Kim's hot. That's why.
She always tends to attack Kim.
Yeah, because Kim's hot and Kim's a good person. And kind of, if you think about it, who got Tommy? There is that. Like, I'm not trying to get all Freudian, but to an extent, you've got, the evil witch who kind of wants the, hero for herself, but the hero chose the heroine. It's that sort of thing. Like, the witch is supposed to go after the princess in the fairy stories. And also try to destroy or seduce or otherwise feel as though the Prince Charming is her property to do with as she pleases. And so there's always a clash between the princess and the witch over Prince Charming in a way. But it's also a clash between the witch and Prince Charming for the soul and the physical safety of the princess. This is kind of how we should look at the story of Kimberly, Tommy, and Rita. It's really about that. Now, when you introduce Lord Zed into the picture, that complicates things a lot more. And it becomes kind of a different myth in some ways. And I use the term myth very deliberately. This is basically mythology. It follows all the patterns of myth, like a hero's journey and whatnot. And Power Rangers is, in a way, a lot deeper than most other superheroes because it did harken back to fairy tales. Because the fairy tale monsters are often used as monsters for the Power Rangers to defeat. and you have the curses that are placed on them every episode, and the individual ranger who's targeted has to overcome it. This is a fairy tale. It is. Just set in the modern age. And it works. Now, when Ivan rises, it's obviously supposed to be disgusting, but the music is used really well in the scene. They're building suspense. Boy, do I miss that. Like in modern movies, suspense? What's that? Why would I build that up?
And the way they apply it nowadays isn't the same.
No, it's garbage. Like, for example, at least in Iron Man, there was some suspense with Ironmonger. A little. Not very good, but there was a little bit. Not much. And not very good. But it was there. Every Marvel movie after that, there is no suspense. No, like, and you don't fear for the heroes. You know they'll make it back. They always win. There's not going to be any death and whatnot, and there's not going to be anyone who stays dead. See Avengers Endgame for proof. And the thing is, and I know there's going to be that one guy. What about Black Widow? No one cared about Black Widow. You don't care about her like you care about, say, Kimberly. Because you've had like 200 episodes to get attached to Kimberly. I'm just saying. If like they killed off Kimberly, I'd be very upset about that. I would be. I'd be like, what the heck? You can't just do that. Whereas with Black Widow, it's like, well, she'll be back on Tuesday. And they're not going to keep her dead in the comics. The problem with most superhero universes is that the revolving door thing has destroyed the appeal of the characters. Because the minute they conquer death like that, what do you care? And the only story that ever really worked with was Superman. And even then, it had a bad influence on comics later on. And I guess to an extent Green Lantern, but even then. Now with Ooze, his rise back to himself is very suspenseful, is very great. And I like how you have the villains kind of... it looks like you have Goldar who's caught between either thinking, do I need to look excited for my boss? Or, what's going on? I don't have a good feeling about this. Even like Goldar does look like he's a little unsure of himself. His cousin looks like he's kind of wondering... His cousin's kind of got that look on his face. What have I gotten myself into? I really like that, because if you pay attention, he's looking like, I don't know about this. And that's an interesting contrast with Lord Zed. Like, Zed's obviously basically turned on. He's excited. Rita looks unsure. Her and the pig guy are the ones going, okay, this might have been a mistake. Like, the minute it's done, they're like, this might have been a mistake. But Zed, I don't think would have listened to anyone. Goldar always just goads Zed on. But the pig and Rita aren't like that. So, yeah. And of course you have Ivan who celebrates, well, after he cracks his neck. I guess he's been holding that in since the Renaissance, or maybe even since, I don't know, Jeanne d'Arc or something. But the thing is, he cracks his neck and just says, the ooze is back.
I love how hammy it is.
It's hammy, but there's a dark edge under his voice there. You can see, it's like, the ooze is back. Like, he almost says it for gritted teeth. Like, he's like, oh, there's going to be hell to pay. I've been waiting thousands of years. And that's Ooze. Like, that's him in a nutshell. He's spiteful and petty. Oh, he wants the Ooze to be back because he wants to kill Zordon. And, of course, you have Zed, who has no idea what he's just done. And his immediate question is, are you familiar with the name Zordon of Eltar? And you have lightning sparks that start to fly. This is Ivan I think, venting his fury there. Now, obviously, the sensors at the command center are going to pick up on this, and so it is going to daunt and intimidate Zordon. But I don't think that's Ivan's intention here. He's just reacting. He doesn't like the name. And of course you have the pig. I think he's heard of him. And I know that's supposed to be... That's comedy those of us who are tired of MCU are familiar with. But it's a good joke. It's well-timed, and you do get a sense of, yeah, he's heard of him. But, then we move to Zed basically saying, well, I'd like you to do him in. And you have Ivan. Oh, I'm not just going to do him in. I'm going to make it so that his entire legacy is nothing. I'm going to grind it down, and there will be no memory of Zordon. He's going to destroy his entire legacy. The Power Rangers, the Zords, the command center if need be. No one will remember Zordon of Eltar when Ivan is done. And he's probably going to have to take that crusade out onto or I should say, that march through space, destroying everything connected to Zordon, which is a lot of people. That's what he's swearing to do. And yeah, but it speaks to the perverseness of Rita and Zed that what's their immediate reaction? Oh, good. Rita, finally a real man. The fact that she's excited by that, not sure I approve. And it shows. She's evil. Because her reaction, and she knows it's going to be a good chunk of the galaxy. Her reaction is, oh good, finally a real man. Now that is her jabbing a little at her husband, who glares at her. But all the same, this is not going to go well. And we've already seen from Ivan, he's got a lot of firepower. Even though it's his first scene. He's got boatloads of it. But we also saw a bit of the Piccolo thing. That is to say, even if you chop his head off, he'll just grow it back. Just by him going from snot to just growing into a man, so to speak, sort of. Or a demon, I should say. You can't just slice his head off. Thoughts?
I love Ivan Ooze. It's a pity they didn't reference him a lot more.
The actors did. The one who liked him the most was David Yost. And I think Steve Cardenas, the Red Ranger.
And wasn't Ivan Ooze one of the actor's favorite roles?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, it was. He really loved playing it because he also liked... I think he went to a children's hospital or something as the role. And he liked that kids knew the role. And liked the villain, even as they said he was despicable and evil. And he was a consummate professional and apparently had a lot of respect and warmth for the franchise. And that's what I love. It's just, this movie is basically a project born of love. It's not a corporate product like Marvel or DC. It's built up by the fans and for the fans. Or at least it was until like 2004. And there have been times when it has been a project of love again afterwards. And yeah, I really, really do love this scene. And of course you get Zed who says, all right, we'll leave you to weave your evil ways. Let's go, Rita. Now, of course, he's not leaving his wife alone with another guy because he's not an idiot. He has boundaries. But of course, this is also him treating Ivan as a flunky and for Ivan to prove himself to him. Ivan doesn't care about this. And we later see in a later scene, he doesn't even like it. But he'll work with it until he can get rid of Zordon. Because he doesn't want to share the kill. He wants to have it all for himself. But he also wants to see these new Power Rangers and how they measure up to those from 6,000 years ago. Any other thoughts?
None other.
No?
I mean, it's Ivan Ooze, one of the best Power Ranger villains.
And possibly one of the best cinematic villains out there.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so don't forget to smash that like, that subscribe button, and also, if you want to support us as past just that, and want to read something interesting, you can check out Akuma no Ran. The Royal Road link will be in the description down below. Do follow us over there, and tell us what you think of our novel. And remember, Rangers,
May the power protect you.